Welcome to Wine Road, the wine, when, and where of Northern Sonoma County. I'm your host, Marcy Gordon, with Beth Costa, Executive Director of the Wine Road.
Thanks to Ron Rubin, we're able to keep our podcast rolling along. The financial support of River Road Family Vineyards and Winery allows us to keep recording, keep sipping wine, and keep sharing stories with our listeners. Check out their website at riverroadvineyards.com and explore their Chardonnay, as well as a finely crafted Pinot Noir from the Russian River Valley. That's riverroadvineyards.com. And hey, thanks, Ron, for allowing us to make this show happen.
Welcome to episode 223. Today our guest is Joy Sterling, one of our favorite guests, by the way, from Iron Horse Vineyards here in the Green Valley, Russian River Valley. And of course, she brought us bubbles. Welcome, Joy.
Of course. I don't go anywhere without bubbles. I know what side my bread is butter.
Yeah.
Totally.
Speaking of bread and butter, this is beautiful. So they do a series of wines each year in line with the Lunar New Year. And this Lunar New Year happens to be Year of the Snake. And the label, and we'll put a photo in the show notes, it's just gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's just, it's like this up close of the snake skin and the rubies and the blacks. It's stunning.
It is a showstopper and a real fashion statement. I mean, I want a clutch that I could wear that looks just like that.
Gosh.
The color is beautiful.
The color
it's, of course,
is amazing. Yes.
Auspicious red for good luck. And this
Very
is a
good luck.
wine that's all about luck and prosperity. And the characteristics of the snake are very interesting. Number one, elegance.
Elegant, for sure.
Elegance. And snakes are sleek. And there is a sleekness to this wine. It's a blanc de blanc. And so it has that. And also, snakes glide. And this has a way of just gliding across your palate.
Oh, my gosh.
And might I add, snakes are dry. That's the people think snakes are like slimy, but they're not. They're dry. They're very dry. And so they have.
Are you a snake charmer?
No, but I could be.
I know
In
she's
a
taken
past
out quite a
life.
few snakes,
Like
like with a
take 'em on.
shotgun.
You take them out with a shotgun, not a flute.
No, but the quality. This is a nice, dry, beautiful wine as well. And so that I'm just going to slink that in. That's a
Nice.
characteristic of a snake as well.
One of the fun things about wine in general is that you can make all these different associations that you don't normally think of. It's not just what fruit types you're tasting about. I mean, we always talk about wine in terms of metaphor, in terms of the texture, the smell, the taste, but it's also the most important attribute of wine is how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
The emotions that it
I feel
evokes,
charming.
and that you are.
Well, it was just so poetic.
Snake
you turn it into poetry, talking about it. Yeah.
Well, actually, to me, wine in general, every wine, every glass of wine is a story.
I
Number
agree.
one, it's a story of the vintage. And so what we're trying to convey in every glass is everything at Iron Horse that we saw, that we felt, that we sensed, that we smell, the whole experience from really pruning through to harvest. And then also, in terms of the balance of the wine that you're tasting, it needs, just like a story, it needs to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so when you're building the blend, you're looking to make that complete story. You don't want a cliffhanger in the
true.
wine.
No, well, this is the perfect story.
It's a little confusing because the vintage of this wine is, 21? 20?
2021.
But it's commemorating the Year of the Snake, which is 25. So it's a little confusing, but it is vintage. It's aged, 3+ years on the yeast and the bottle. Everything we make at Iron Horse is vintage.
Lovely.
Man, this is like, I couldn't imagine a better way to start this day.
So we all agreed, morning.
Yeah, morning.
Cheers to
I'm
the
going to tell my
morning.
husband, well, Joy said.
That 10 a.m. is the
Morning is
perfect time for
appropriate.
bubbles. But more specifically, 10 a.m. is the time for the
I
bubbles.
think, that's if you're being, just very discerning.
Yes.
Yeah, we have. So we're very excited for spring to come. We had a very wet winter.
Yes.
And that will certainly put its mark on the vintage. The reservoir is full to the brim, so that's excellent.
That's great.
That's
Yeah.
happiness.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's great news.
That's happiness, although we did have flooding. And because one of the great assets of Iron Horse is that our vineyard is primarily hillside. And so the water sheds. And we have in Green Valley a very special soil type called Goldridge soil, which is a sandy clay loam, and it drains very beautifully. The quirk of our terrain is that our entrance is the floodplain.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I've been there
That
when I
old
thought, well, this was
quirk.
not good timing. Yeah.
Well, you get to make a personal decision.
Right.
It's back roads or a kayak.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
And-
right where that berry farm is. Or it's not a berry farm
Not
anymore.
anymore.
It's vineyards
it's
now.
vineyard now.
Yeah.
It's vineyard now. But yes, so I love that you remember it as and those berries were
Those were the most
best.
amazing berries ever.
the best.
Are we losing our berry diversity?
Well,
Feels like it might be, but anyway.
At least at least it got turned into vineyard. And of
Yeah, it's
course,
not-
that's so much the history
Yes.
of our area.
Yeah, just agriculture.
We went from apples.
Mhm.
And it's interesting that apples, berries, and even dairy land is generally very good for grapes.
Mhm.
Yes.
So as long as it's not,
A condo.
Yeah.
thank you. I was trying to find
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a
We
high
don't,
rise.
we don't need an
High
apartment complex. Right.
As long
Yeah.
as it's not a mini mart or something.
that would be hilarious.
But that is a low point, and that is the entrance coming up to your road, so it does get flooded.
And my house is right there at that edge. And so I'm on this side, the dry side of the
Right.
flooding. And my mother and brother and sister-in-law and their children are on the winery side. So it's always a personal decision if you want to be flooded in or
yeah.
flooded out. And both have their advantages. Flooded in, plenty of wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Flooded out, electricity.
Yeah, a little freedom to move around. Right. Yeah.
I think I'd opt for a candle and the wine.
Yeah, I would opt for the candle
think-
wine.
I think it's true. Now, I am such a silly person. I very rarely keep wine at my house because there's this whole winery. I walk up there.
The annex.
Right.
And I can see it from my house. And during one of the big February floods, weirdly, I didn't have any wine in my house. I mean, it was the most ridiculous situation. I mean, I was like, what?
What am I thinking?
I'm never letting that happen
No, I
again.
wouldn't let-
So this is a big year for me.
Okay.
In June, I'm going to be celebrating my 40th anniversary at Winery.
That's
Oh my gosh.
amazing.
That's a long
I
time.
can't even figure out the math.
Yeah, that's a long time.
How does that happen? But I'm excited. I get a coat. I get a jacket. We're like the
Wait, is that
masters.
the Ruby anniversary?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's next year.
Oh, okay.
Next year is huge, huge. My parents bought Iron Horse in 1976. So 2026 is our 50th anniversary.
Wow. So-
And it will also be my mother's 95th birthday.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So
And-
much to celebrate.
And in the Lunar New Year, this year is Year of the Snake, next year is Year of the Horse. So it's all coming together. It's all coming together. I mean, the stars are just aligning. So you know what's going to happen?
No, please tell
I-
us.
Something good. Tell us something good.
Party.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Actually, not party.
She made that so obvious.
Parties.
She made that so
Parties.
obvious. Obviously.
Like Beth and I are like,
Multiple parties.
what's going to happen?
What's
oh,
good?
yes, a party. A massive celebration.
Massive celebration. It's going to be just tremendous. So I'm already planning
I
it.
was saying,
Of
I bet you got to
course.
be really planning.
That's
at this point.
exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, well,
You have
I
to
don't,
celebrate the milestones. You have to really
That's a huge one.
lean into that. That's
totally.
important.
And as you know, I'm very proud that Sonoma County, the wine growers, have created a new club called the Century Club.
I know. That's amazing how many. Yeah.
Well, this is my goal.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
in.
You want it.
And we're only halfway there.
You got a ways to go.
well,
But it's something to shoot for. It's
we're
amazing.
halfway there.
100
You know,
years.
when you're
Right.
doing something and you say, okay, We're at the halfway point.
Right.
Everything seems all the more doable.
Shoot for the stars.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
That's
Totally.
exciting.
It's very exciting. And I love that we have that history of family winery grape growers because I think it says something about where we're located and the beauty of the wines that come out of our gorgeous, gorgeous place.
Well, and the thing is, you obviously, I mean, you are just so passionate. It comes through as so genuine all the time. Anything you ever talking about the winery, the wines you've produced, it's so heartfelt and genuine. And you don't think you've been doing that for 40 years? That means it's real to me.
Not only is it real, but that it's enduring.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing rote about it
That's
at
the thing.
all.
Never. It never seems that way ever. Yeah.
It's like a legacy of love.
Yeah.
This is what it feels like to me. Like this long legacy, but it's grounded in this love of the land, of the people,
And
of
each
the product.
vintage makes you more excited. Yeah.
And I want to add community. I think more and more that sense of community, and it's our local geographic community, but also I think there is a wine community.
There is.
It's so funny because you were on this show, I don't know, it's probably been a few years ago, but I said something about the wine industry, and you said, it's not an industry. I hate when people call it an industry. It's a community. And that has just stuck with me so much. I can't tell you, there have probably been 100 times when I've had to write something or I've done an interview, and industry has started to come out of my mouth, and I've said, community. And I can just hear your voice saying, it's not an industry, it's a community. And I thought that's such a better way to frame it. I really appreciate it. It really stuck with me.
Well, you know, I don't know how you define community, but certainly shared values and shared interests and shared passions. In the case of wine, I think many people who love wine are passionate about wine. Because it's delicious.
Well, yeah, there's that.
That
We
too.
keep checking. I like to do quality control and make sure.
All the time. And also, you know, one of the things that's really heartening for us at Iron Horse, and we think about it every day, is we create a product of pleasure. And that we convey that when you pop the bottle, but also when we're welcoming you at the winery. The whole thing is this is supposed to be a pleasure. This is not a something you have to do.
Right. And you're not selling widgets. Yeah.
or castor oil.
Right.
Right. Although, you know, I would have been much more valuable to my family if I had actually been a plumber or an electrician or something useful.
The world needs this more than ever. This
Yeah.
is more important.
Yeah.
This is what we need. And this is what we should lean into, the joys of life, literally, and
Yes.
the celebrations. And you can't be in a bad mood and pop a bottle of Iron Horse.
And
And if you are, it'll change.
that's my point. That's my point. There is no doubt that you should have 2 bottles chilling in your refrigerator at all times.
I want to say that when I left this morning, I looked in the refrigerator and there they were.
Yay. Yay.
I always do. Now, it's funny. I thought maybe it was a little holdover from the holidays, but they're there. And and this year I sent all gifts were from Iron Horse. That beautiful packaging with the green and the red label.
Oh, that was pretty.
That was beautiful. So I have a lot of freelance clients. So I didn't send them to you, but I sent them to everyone else.
Oh.
I'm not worthy.
I just figured you've got enough wine, but you know what? I'll make it up to you for your birthday. But
When's your birthday?
Not till August. But
Well,
we'll figure
sure.
that
But
out.
I just want
I'll make it up to you.
I'll stop at her house on the way home.
I'm going to edit that out.
And like, there's 2 bottles in the fridge.
But-
I did bring her here today. I'm bringing her home. We might have to stay a while.
Maybe she's going to
Maybe
have to walk.
I might have to hitch a
That's a
ride.
possibility.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I
Now,
can't,
just let that be a lesson to anybody who's listening.
I just like
Give wine.
Yeah, give wine.
Give
but
wine.
I must say too, your customer service people are amazing. You know, it was so easy to call, and they totally helped because I wasn't sure about some of the states I was sending it to, and they're just so spot on. It was just a pleasurable experience all around, and so
Well, thank you. First of all, let me say our extended family is unbelievable. And, you know, to say the obvious, it takes a village. And I am so lucky to work with such an extraordinary team of people. And, we talk about it's the land, it's the microclimate, it's the winemaking. It's ingredient X.
It's everything. Yeah.
Is all of the people behind it.
Yeah.
And whether it's the person in shipping or the person who welcomes you or the person who's answering the phone, it's all part of the experience. Again, that goes back to that sense of community, that's what we're sharing is community. And I think that it's very special. And I think that in a time when there's so much talk about no or low alcohol, it's like, I think you're missing out. I'm just saying. Am I right?
Well, I think she's right. Yes, I mean, I'll have to think about that, but yes, I'm pretty sure she's right.
I mean, really, I understand that you can strip the alcohol out, but why? I mean,
Well, and like everything in moderation. So, I mean, it's not the alcohol in the glass. It's if you drink too much. But, I mean, the glass, you want it to be, this is perfect. Like, this shouldn't be changed in any way whatsoever.
thank you.
And I mean, I'm all for people having options, but I don't think it means that you should negate the fact that a wine is a beautiful living thing that's been in our culture for thousands of years, and that let's not demonize it.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. And, you make your own choice for you. And that's, that's fine.
And, in the ledger of
Right.
plus and minuses, I mean, I think everybody should sit down and evaluate, because I think your mood, your happiness, that it brings people together, that you're with somebody, you're socializing. I think the biggest thing right now, I read so many articles that we have become asocial.
Oh,
And isolated.
yeah, absolutely.
And I think that if we spent a little more time opening a bottle of wine amongst friends, it doesn't have to be a full-blown fancy
Right.
dinner with souffles.
It's almost better to not. I mean, when
Casual.
somebody just stops in and you weren't expecting it and you just open a bottle.
Get out the
and you
Cheez-Its.
grab the box of Triscuits. I mean, everybody's happy. I mean,
Yes, Triscuits and bubbles. Oh my God.
perfect. I agree. I've tried it many times.
A lot of people I talk to, the prep time of making a meal is more fun than the actual sitting
Right.
down to
Yeah.
the meal. So if you've got your family and your friends sort of in the kitchen, all doing, chopping vegetables, making the salad, creating the dip, whatever it is, or even just leaning on the counter.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all.
That's
the
all
best part.
of it.
That is
Yeah.
the best
It's all
part.
part of it.
Yeah.
And it's all part of gathering and connecting with food and wine.
So true.
And there's no doubt. And then the tasting experience is so much fun when you're compare. It doesn't matter what you're, we did an event for Lunar New Year via Zoom. And it was so much fun. We put together a snack box with all different kinds of Asian snacks. So
Oh,
we
lovely.
had, it was so much fun. So we had, tangerines, which are, of course,
Yes.
very good luck and taste
So traditional. Yeah.
beautiful. We had fortune cookies, of course. And when you open the fortune cookies, it said things like, "We see Iron Horse in your future." We had sesame cakes. We had old Beijing instant noodles
Oh, wow.
that took literally 5 minutes to make, and they were very spicy. We had Fly by Jing chili crisp.
Oh, I love that fly by Jing. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I put that on everything.
So great. We had Fishwife tinned
All
tuna.
the best brands.
You would be,
Well-
Marcy'd be in her glory here.
I mean,
I love
brands.
tinned fish with potato chips and tinned fish and bubbles. What could go wrong? Nothing.
And then put a little bit of that chili crisp
yes,
on top.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it was just like playtime.
Yeah, just fun. Right.
It was just fun.
How did we miss out on this?
I was just going to say.
don't know.
That's what I was going to say.
Can we retroactively
what
order
have
a
I done
box?
wrong here? Yeah.
Let me just say we're going to do it again, and I will let everybody know because it was so tremendous.
Yeah.
Was this a wine club?
Yeah.
event? Yeah, that sounds
but that's
so
so
fun.
lovely and deeply integrated. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And I built the I got to build the snack boxes, and my eldest niece Justine is a master snacker. So so I had a
master
I'm gonna
snacker.
go back to school for that.
yeah, you can get a degree.
Yeah.
Are you a master snacker?
Yes, I am.
Oh my gosh. All right. So this is perfect. So the next one we plan, I'm going to coordinate with you.
Okay.
And we're going to pick, because the key is you got to pick things that people that
are
we can either
accessible.
send
Yeah.
or that are,
Shelf stable.
Yes.
Right.
Don't take a long time to prepare.
Right,
if
right.
they're so but the fun is in the planning. Oh my gosh. I mean, we tasted all different kinds of potato chips and instant noodles everybody had their fill.
Taste
How
test
fun.
trials.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I don't know if you know this, but Lay's potato chips makes Asian potato
no.
chips.
Okay, I didn't know.
And so very wild.
Maybe I'm not a master
So
snacker.
is that like the Kit Kat? Asian Kit Kats have all these different flavors. The Asian Lays have like very
Yeah, and
indigenous
the
flavors.
packaging have Chinese.
Interesting.
And it's now some of them are really good, like the shrimp chips are
yes.
good. Some are a little more for me.
More acquired taste.
Yes, thank you. Very, very well said.
Yeah, nice to say. Yeah.
But it was fascinating. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But this is what's so fun is you delve into anything and
Yeah.
you learn so
You
much,
learned
the depth.
That's the fun.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that you're doing those Zoom tastings like that, because I think that, everybody did that during COVID, then so many wineries stopped, but people can't be here constantly, but they still want that connection with the wineries. It's just a perfect way to keep that connection going, and it's fun, and they can bring their friends and do at their house, have 2 or 3 people. It's just such a great, great way to keep that connection.
Well, one of the reasons we did it with our wine club is that you already have the wine.
Right. Perfect.
It
That's
came
totally
in your
perfect.
shipment. So
Exactly.
I'm not selling you wine.
Right.
Though that's my job.
Although once they've done that, they realize that they need more because it was so good.
What
with the
I've
snacks.
done,
You're selling a connection is what
Yeah.
you're selling.
and I've helped you deplete a bottle.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you have to replace what you just drank at the
I'm on the depletion team.
yeah.
Team depletion.
But I think that's part of it is that connection.
Right,
And
absolutely.
if you're far flung,
Right. You can't be here.
you're not going to
constantly.
be here for our Oyster Sundays.
No.
Also expanding the possibilities. Like we're doing a new thing on the Wine Road about different foods. Like we did one on pairing wine and waffles or different waffles or different ethnic foods. So it helps you expand those, the avenues of what you pair with and how you might pair it.
Absolutely. Now, when you're doing the waffles, are you making the waffles?
No.
Well, no, it was just we write up about all the different, could be
I like the way she says we. Marcy does this. There's no we involved.
the creative we of the Wine Road.
Yeah.
So it'd be a savory, a sweet,
I see.
the different types of waffles, even chicken and waffles, the classic pairing, and what you would drink with that. And almost every one of them, sparkling wine goes
Goes with
great.
everything. We
Have
really
you
just want to
found-
show people that no matter what food you're eating, there's wine that can pair with it. I think that the first one we did was Taco Tuesday, and I think everybody just, grabs a Corona. It's like, you don't have to. I
Right.
mean, there are great wines that pair with Taco Tuesday.
Right. And so do you know of anything that doesn't go with bubbles?
No, honestly, I drink a lot of bubbles. and
This is why we get along.
and I know. And I really feel like it goes with everything. So I was always surprised. I mean, for 20 years, I've been surprised that people used to only have it for a celebration or, some special, or they'd have it to begin their meal, but then move on to something else. And I mean, now people definitely drink sparkles. All of our members produce some sort of sparkling wine.
I know.
But yeah, but I mean, it used to be so hard to find, and nobody. I mean, it really was a occasion wine, and now I think people are accepting it more as
Be the occasion.
Be the occasion. And just, I feel like
Make
a
it
Paris
the
with
occasion.
everything. My husband will, barbecue a steak, and I will still have sparkling wine with it. I mean, I have it with everything.
Well,
I have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I'm home alone. I think, I could open a bottle of sparkling.
first of all, when you drink steak and bubbles, I would recommend number one, a rosé.
Exactly.
Let's just
It's
start
perfect.
there. And then I would pour it into a burgundy glass. And then you get this wash of bubbles down your throat. And that pairing with steak invariably makes me feel like I'm James Bond.
Okay.
You joy Bond.
Game on. I'm going to have to.
Jane Bond
I'm going to
here.
have to try that.
I'm telling
I
you,
love
it is
it.
worth it. It is so exhilarating. It is so fantastic. So, yes.
It really does. It just does pair with
Why
everything.
aren't they doing a product placement with James Bond and Iron Horse?
I
You
don't
know? I
know.
mean, come on. I mean,
Come
get
on.
off the martinis and off the Heineken and get on the Iron Horse bandwagon.
Are you listening?
You just never know.
Yeah,
you never know who's
know.
listening.
We don't know.
I know.
Anyways.
Actually, we don't know.
Yeah.
Well, now probably everything's being listened to.
Well, I know it
That's a whole
is
other
because I'm sure I will go back to my computer and an ad will pop up about
Oh, yeah.
waffles.
Absolutely.
Or
Exactly.
the next James Bond movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy stuff where you just say,
scary.
that is freaky.
Okay, so we probably need to wrap up, but
Why?
is there anything that
We still
Well, 'cause
have a little
we
bit
have
of this
half a bottle
left.
I'm going to go sit in my car and finish this off later?
Oh.
You don't have to go, Joy. You can be part of the team.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So is there anything in spring happening at Iron Horse that people need to know about in March, April,
break.
May?
Bud
break.
Bud break. So that's always a thrill. But in terms of things happening, we are back to having Oyster Sundays.
Okay, good.
Gotta come over.
And we're doing them quarterly now instead of every Sunday. We just did one last Sunday, Valentine's weekend. There's just something about oysters, bubbles, and love that
Can't
is
be beat.
undeniable.
Can't be beat.
So we're going to have one in April again, and those are just tremendous. And
that's by reservation. People need to make a reservation. Yes.
yes,
Okay.
please. But we're also going on tour, which I'm very excited about. We're going to be on the Lamb Jam.
We need some details.
So the National Lamb Board has an annual tour of 7 cities. And in each city, it starts in Atlanta, actually in March. And then it goes every month to a different city. And they get 8 fabulous chefs in each of those cities to come do a walk-around tasting of different lamb dishes.
Wow.
Wow.
So if you're a lamb lover,
Yeah.
and Iron Horse is the wine sponsor. So we're going to
Oh my
be on
gosh.
tour, which is really exciting. And if you go to our website, ironhorsevineyards.com, and our events page, there's a link that will give you a 20% discount on tickets.
Oh, that's great.
One of the cities will be San Francisco, I think in the summer, but it's all over the country. And so that's going to be
That's huge.
It's
Yeah.
very fun.
Yeah.
I
It's
love it.
very fun. Yeah, me too. I'm really excited. And so there's that. Another big thing that's happening, everything's happening in March so far. Starting in March, is we will be announcing our new ocean conservation partner. I'm very thrilled to say that we now, for 20 vintages, every year, Ocean Reserve, a portion of the proceeds goes to helping the health of the ocean. And it started with National Geographic. We're just wrapping up our partnership with the Surfrider Foundation. In March, we'll announce our new partner. Do you want to know?
Yes, please.
Absolutely. I'm like, who? Is she going to tell us?
I'm so thrilled about this, and they deserve a shout out right now. It's called Heal the Bay. They're in Southern California, and they monitor the coastline of Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
And they were the first nonprofits on the water, measuring the quality of the water after the fires,
Yeah.
particularly now that there's been rain.
Yeah.
That
Let's run off.
debris
Oh, yeah.
And the slurries
Scary.
from the mudslides. Yeah.
is going into the waterways and eventually, of course, into the ocean.
Right.
And so Heal the Bay is who we're going to be supporting.
That's fabulous.
And I love that because it's helping Los Angeles, which needs it right now, and maintains our focus on the ocean. Remember, we are so concerned about the ocean because the Pacific is just 13 miles as the drone flies from the vineyard. And it is the engine of our microclimate.
Yeah,
it's what
absolutely.
allows us to make sparkling wine on this level of finesse. And so the health of the ocean, besides being the lungs of the earth,
Right.
is directly responsible for what we're capable of doing. So that's why that's one of our big areas to support. So this makes me, my dad was a Los Angelino. My eldest niece lives there, and she was threatened by one fire. My uncle, my mother's brother, was threatened by the other one on the west side. We have strong ties to Los Angeles. Well, we have now 2 giving wines, that and Gratitude, which supports the food bank. But of course, I think all of us in this studio right now agree you have to give back.
Beth's going to cry now.
I mean, it feels exhausting. There are days when it just feels exhausting.
Let's cue Beth's tears.
Well, take another sip of bubbles.
there you
Come
go.
on. Cheers, ladies.
Cheers to you, Joy.
Clink.
I have a
So
little
we can
bit
we
in
can
there.
do
Clink. You know why we clink glasses, don't you?
no.
To make sure you don't have a weapon
No.
in your hand? Oh, no, that's something else. Well, that's, I think, how shaking hands and hugging was to make sure your adversary, someone didn't have a weapon.
Well, I like that. Now I have a new reason because I could
Was
come
that like
to
in
that.
the 1800s or what was that?
This could be something that's worth pursuing. Well, there is part of what you say is true because it had to do that if you clank and the liquid goes into both chalices, then you couldn't be poisoned. But
Oh my Lord!
I knew it had something to do with
Holy
something.
moly!
but that to me, the other reason that I love is that it brings sound into. Well, you could
That centering
Yeah, if you have a good
sound.
blouse, yeah.
but
Yes.
it brings sound in as a sense. But more than anything, nobody wants to be the missing clink. Right?
Oh, my God.
I'm never the missing
I
link.
actually believe that. That's better than the chalice with the palace has the brew that is true. That's in that old Danny Kaye movie. When I was a kid, we would say that all the time.
that is so
It was
funny.
about the same thing, about which wine was the poison wine.
Oh
that-
my!
Yes, yes. But let's not be a missing clink.
No missing clinks here.
And
We're all united.
Oh my
you're
Lord.
the best guest, Joy. I
Yeah,
have to
this
say,
was-
you bring the energy, you bring the joy, you make a rainy day happy. So
There you go.
Thank you so much for
right.
being here.
Or she makes us cry. One or the
yeah.
other.
Well, the rain comes out of Beth's eyes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so we need to put all the deets put in the show notes, how to reach Iron Horse, which is ironhorse.com, I would believe.
Iron Horse Vineyards.
ironhorsevineyards.com.
And I think you have something else you want to share
Oh,
today.
yes. So
We actually have an item. We haven't had a
Item
wine
of the
item in a long
day.
time, but we had something that made sense with Iron Horse as
our
a guest.
friends at Capabunga, they are the most innovative people ever. They make all sorts of accoutrements for wine, but they have a new stopper. They were very clever with their original Capabunga, which was like a little silicone cap. But now they have something called Kappa Bubbles. and they come in all different varieties. And so this one is just a cheers. It's a beautiful red. And you unscrew this and it clicks.
And then you put
and
that
then
on the
you
top.
just screw
You're missing it.
the top on. And it fits in the fridge. it's not just for everyday wine bottles, it's for your bubbles as well. So Capabunga,
Capabunga.
shout out to them, and we'll
That's
put
nice.
a link to this in the show notes. But it's great that Joy brought sparkling so we could demonstrate this.
Not that that's going to be
I was
need to
just
be
going
saved,
to say.
but
Not that this bottle will need
no,
saving.
we're not going to need to save it.
Well,
but
I'm going to say this. The one reason why, so you might finish the first bottle, but sometimes you don't finish the second.
There you go.
And so
I have found that to be true.
I have found that to be true. And so there you go. And these things do work.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest trick is keep the bottle cold.
Right.
Exactly.
So actually, what I have become fanatical is that I would not have left it out
This
here
long.
in the
Right.
studio.
Right.
I would have put it in the fridge
Right.
immediately, even without a stopper,
Yeah.
just because I'm
Cold.
lazy.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's the keeping the bottle cold.
Cold
that's
is key.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cold is key.
So we'll put a link to that in our show notes. And thank you to Capabunga for supplying this for our show today. And Joy, I just once again, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Next time we'll have a chauffeured van bring you over.
You did not have to tell everybody that I got lost.
Now, you deserve a driver.
Nobody had to know I got lost.
No,
Come on.
I didn't say that. I just said you deserve a
You're just going to
chauffeur.
have a driver.
You just outed yourself.
We are out in the boonies, so it's
No,
hard to
but
find.
also I need to be watched.
No.
You made it here. That's
All
the
is
main thing.
forgiven.
This was awesome. It's been a rough few, weeks, months, I don't know. And I was so looking forward to seeing you today, and you did everything I was hoping. You just made the whole day better. It's awesome. Great to see you.
Great to see you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joy. We'll see you on the wine road.
There
Yes,
you go.
indeed.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.